Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. On behalf of entire managed services team, we would like to welcome you all to the 23C HR Helpdesk and ORC Advisory webinar session. This is a very important session to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionality as a part of our quarterly release that Oracle provides. My name is Bhuvnesh, and I'm an operations executive at Mastek Managed Services team. Today, I will be your host for this session, and I'm glad to introduce my colleague Geetika Sharma, who is a part of our vast HCM team at Mastek. Today, she will take us through all the HR Helpdesk and ORC updates for 23C quarterly release. Today's session is planned for around 45 to 60 minutes, and we will make sure that we also spare some time to answer your questions that you may have. So before we move to the agenda, let's have a quick look on the important disclaimer. In today's agenda, we would like to convey our approach towards the Oracle updates in a very simple method. We will also be taking you through vital analysis for 23C updates done by our experts, which will help you in incorporating new features and updates into the system. Also, we will sync you on any bugs or known issues that you have any. So finally, I request you all to please ask questions if you have any through our chat panel. We will answer them at the end of this session. And in case we run out of time, we will just make sure that your questions are answered at the later stage. This is just to give you a glance on how we have created the structure of this particular session. So this will have a list of new features coming into 23C. Then we have the detailing on the features so that you get a brief understanding on what new features are all about. The next one is what are the business benefits and the important takeaways for you. So there are 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of features, which we are going to present today. The first one is the impact level analysis, which demonstrate the impact on the end user. So it means simply that low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. And in case of high, then we need to go for regression testing. The second one is in which we all are aware that some features are auto-enabled by Oracle, and there are some which need to opt for. The third one highlights there would be certain configurations which may be required or some can be used without any changes. The fourth one is a quick win. This term is used to simply convey what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make of these features. So now I would request my colleague Geetika to please take us further in this presentation. So thank you so much, Geetika. Kindly unmute yourself and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Bhuvnesh. Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining the session. So today we are going to present to you the 23C release new features. Okay. Just to introduce myself, I'm Geetika Sharma, and I'm a senior HCM consultant in Mastek. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. So first, let's look at the statistics. Now there are 28 total features which are available in Oracle Recruiting Cloud and HR Helpdesk. And the blue ones are the quick wins, which requires no configuration to minimal configuration, and the rest are colored as orange. So as you can see, we have all the features as quick wins this time, which is great. So out of these 28, 24 are default and 4 are opt-ins. Opt-ins are the ones which you may want to use, or if you like those features, you can opt in for those. But 24 are default, so you don't need to do anything. They would be there in the application by default. Okay. All right. So first, we are going to discuss the new feature, which are quick wins, with default with no configuration required. Okay. So first one is enhanced email validation. Now in recruiting, there is email address validation, which will follow RFC compliance standard, and RFC compliant characters include numbers, uppercase and lowercase letters, plus sign, hyphen, underscore, tilde, and dot. So across the application, your email address will be consistent. So earlier, what used to happen was the validation was not there on the career side, but was there in the application. So that might used to create, some error for you. So if the candidate has provided a email address which is not RSC compliant, and then the candidate was hired, so you would have needed to change the email address at the time of adding the candidate as a pending worker. But now you don't need to do anything else, and it's all consistent across the entire application. You can see that this validation is enforced in all the areas, including career site, where the external candidate applies for a new job, referrals, where your employee can refer their friend, agencies, and recruiter UI. There is also impact analysis provided by us that the impact of this feature would be low. It doesn't require any configuration and it's a quick win. The next is career site customization. So now what has introduced by Oracle is the additional header style that you can design on specific pages of the career site. So earlier in previous release, we discussed that along with the hamburger navigation, which was there by default, we also have horizontal navigation. So with that and the other update which has come in 23B, that you can hide the logo or hide I'm an employee button icon. You can also change the text of I'm an employee. You were also able to hide the profile button icon on your career site. So along with those two upgrades, now the third one is there, which would let you to uh, change the header names and the height or the width of the headers on your different custom pages of career sites. What it will do is it will give you more customization control for your career site, which uses a minimal template. It's also a quick win with no configuration needed. Then the next one is promote recruiting locations in location search. So when candidate applies for a job on your career site, they usually search for the location in which they are situated. What this will do is this feature will boost the recruiting location at the top of the auto suggest list in the near location search mode, so that candidate will be able to easily see exactly where all the job openings are available. This feature is also visible in various search areas for internal candidates in the internal candidate experience location search, then the candidate search as we mentioned, and then the campaign's location auto suggest as well. The next one is print candidate pool member. So in earlier release, we were able to print the candidate file of a candidate in an active job requisition. But in this release, what you can do is you can go to the candidate pool and select all the candidates for which you want to print their file, as you can see from the action. So you can multi-select all the candidates, then you can go to action, print their PDFs, and in that printing option, you can also decide, you can make selection exactly which content you want to print and which attachment should be printed. Okay, so once you do this, you will have the PDFs available with you with the selected content and selected attachment. The business benefit of this feature is that you can generate these PDF files for multiple candidates, out of those pool member information, and share these PDF with your other collaborators who are involved in the interview and selection process. Next one is the HCM data loader enhancement, which has come for recruiting. So as you can see, we have now a new very specific to security product area in which our business object job requisition security profile resides. So previously the product area was recruiting, But now Oracle has introduced a specific product area, which is recruiting security. Also, there are enhancements in other business objects, such as candidate job application. So as you can see in the candidate job applications, along with the questionnaire response, you can also update or upload new attribute, which is rating. So along with the questionnaire response, you can also upload rating. In the other business object job offer, you can in the previous release you could upload the job offer, offer attachment, and job offer team. Now along with that, you can also update DFF segments, comments, attachments, and other collaborators when the job offer has the following state: pending approval, approved, extended, and accepted. You don't need to upload it in the non-draft state as you used to do it previously. So this feature will allow you to upload these additional enhancements such as updates such as DFS, comments, attachment, and collaborators when the offer is in non-draft state without having to do it manually from the UI. Okay. So we think this is a very high level impact, and it's also a quick win. Next one is view schedule interviews for my requisitions. So as an interview coordinator, if you are managing an interview or if you are a part of the interview, what you can do is you would have a specific area of interviews. It's a quick action available under me where you can see the interview tile, and therein you would have two areas. One is schedule owner or requisition. If you select this option, then interviews for requisitions where you own at least one interview schedule are listed. If you select the other option, which is part of the hiring team, then all those interview list in which you are a part of the hiring team as hiring manager or recruiter or a collaborator, regardless of the collaborator type, those requisitions will be listed. With this feature, we have the benefit of that the interview coordinator can view and manage interviews for requisitions which they are involved in, all from a single area, which was not earlier possible. Okay, so next is manage walk-in interviews for mass hiring events. Now, in 23A and B, we saw that event is there, which you can create for a mass hiring or some other activities. But interview was not part of the event. With this new release, we have a checkbox on the create event page, as you can see on the screenshot. Just by checking this checkbox, which says enable interviews for this event, you will be able to create and manage walk-in interviews for these events. And when it is done, and you add the interviewers, multiple interviewers, and submit the event, then those interviewers will be able to receive a notification either in their bell icon or in the email as per the configuration, and in which they would receive the event details, as you can see on the screenshot. And they would also have a shortlisting form using which they can easily and quickly indicate whether the candidate of whom they have taken interview should move to the next stage of the hiring process or not. So as you can see, this is the shortlisting form which will be available for them, where they can select if the candidate is shortlisted or not, and they can also provide more comments. With this feature, you'll be able to easily handle walk-in candidates for high volume hiring events. Next is report on workplace field in job requisition. So this is regarding the analytics. So in previous release, we mentioned that there is a workplace field available in job requisitions now, wherein you can decide, or in the offer information, you can mention if the requisition is open for the remote location or hybrid or on-site. Right now, you can also report on it. And it is available in the subject areas as mentioned. recruiting real time, recruiting events real time, sourcing real time, candidate tracking real time. So the subject areas containing these job requisition now include a new field such as workplace. You can easily, using this feature, you can easily report on the job requisition supporting remote locations. You can also see how many candidates are opting for remote location or hybrid or on-site. Next one is look up an employee and view the employee's existing request. So this feature is now part of the HR help desk. Now we have covered all the quick wins with default for ORC. Now we are going to discuss the HRST quick wins with default, which are default and need no configuration. So first one, as you can see that in the Redwood experience, help desk agents will have a new page, which would say employee service summary page, which will help them to see basic information of employee along with a list of the 5 most recently created requests. So they can just search the employee using the name, person number, or email address. And what this will do is this will allow the agent to validate the employee's identity, see the more information about, let's say, the department manager's name or the employee's name and number, view the list of open requests so that an existing request can be found without needing the request number. So it will ease the process for the agents, and that's why we think it's of high impact. The next one is customize smart actions, and I guess this is very good feature because now what you can do is the smart action which would be available for agents can be customized. You can add more smart actions which you were not able to do earlier. You can also remove the standard ones which come by default in the system and make it relevant to your business process. So this is a business benefit that everything would be as per your organization and your business process. The next one is regarding the analytics update. So all the upcomings would be analytic update only for HR help desk. So in this, we have introduced 2 new subject areas called HR service request summary and internal service request summary. With these new subject areas, managers will be able to gain insight or visibility into the service request milestone target completions and compliance. So this will help managers monitor knowledge article usage and request as well as their effectiveness in reducing resolution times. It is very useful in that manner that, if let's say you have created the knowledge articles to resolve some of the issues that are frequent, right? You would be able to see or analyze from using this subject area if people are using those knowledge articles or not. And using this analytics, you would be able to make an informed decision whether you want to create more such knowledge articles, or if people are not using these existing ones, then you might not create these new ones, but do something else in order to effectively resolve the service request. Next is analyze HR helpdesk performance for affected parties. So sometimes what happens is the person who has the concern does not raise a request, but on behalf of that person, agent or some other party raises a request. So just to finding out exactly who has raising the request on behalf of which affected party, there is a new folder which is introduced called HR Service Request Affected Party, which will expose the key attributes of the affected party, such as the name, department, location, the job title, and other key attribute to help pinpoint specific employee groups, location, and positions where issues have been occurring. And all of this has been added to the subject area called Helpdesk HR Service Request Real Time. So this feature will allow you to gain visibility into the origins of these requests raised on behalf of affected party to uncover common patterns and plan suitable remedial actions. We think this is of high impact level and it is also a quick win. The next one is gain deeper insights into help desk performance with new subject areas. So in this feature, we have two more subject areas called HR Helpdesk Q Resources Real Time and Internal Helpdesk Q Resources Real Time. So with this, what will happen is, um, you know, when there is a queue on which there are multiple agents acting, so using these service areas, subject areas, managers would be able to gain insight into the service delivery performance of each agent being part of the queue. So with the usage of this subject area, along with other help desk subject areas, they'll be able to uh, gain the insight about the performance delivery of each agents. And using these analytics, they can then make better decision on queue loading balancing. The next one is analyze conversations in internal help desk. So this is in regards with the internal conversation which happens on service request. A new subject area has been introduced called help desk internal service request conversation message real time. So this subject area would help you to gain insight of the conversations and the count of conversations which happen between fellow agents or subject matter experts in resolving a request. And you can also gain insight into the extent of collaboration that's happening via internal conversations with this feature. So the business benefit is that this will give you the analysis of resolution time of closed request together with the categories, queues, or business units, and the nature and the volume of conversation messages would help uncover opportunities for improvement. All right, so that was all about the new feature, which were default with no configuration needed. Now we will move ahead to discuss the new feature, which are quick wins, but they would need minimal configuration. All right, the first one is control country names. So over here in ORC, what has been introduced is that admin would have full control over the location names that are used across recruiting, and they can easily do that by going into the application and going to the task of manage territories. So let's say if recently a country has changed the name or the spelling of their the country. So what recruiters would can do is the recruiter or the recruiter admin would be able to go and change the country name by going into the managed territories, and that the country, the updated name would be visible throughout recruiting, all the recruiting areas. So as you can see in the screenshot, we have taken example of Turkey using the country's newly approved new spelling. So whenever candidate applies for a job or goes to your career site, they'll be able to see the new country name. This feature will give more control over the location data used throughout recruiting to the admins. The next one is more secure career site experience. I guess this is great because with nowadays more usage of a bot, increasing usage of a bot. Now we have more secure way of making sure that you know the application that we are receiving or the sign up data we are receiving on talent community is entered by the information is entered by a person but not a bot. So Oracle has introduced this captcha setup that you can do on the application, and that too you can have multiple captcha configuration setup, but only one can be activated time. So one example is this, that please click each image containing a chicken. So you would know that, okay, once they pass, only then they'll be able to identify or proceed further. The configuration would require very minimal information. As you can see, So you would just need to provide the basic account details such as name, code, and provider, along with the description as well. And this feature will help you provide a more secure career site experience. Going ahead, the next one is search engine optimization enhancement, which will allow the administrator of a career site to add site description, keywords, and domain verification to the global setting of career site. As you can see in the screenshot, this is the general setting. So it is the global setting of a career site wherein you can provide in the search engine optimization area, you can provide organization name, URL, and logo. Along with those basics, you can also provide this SEO, search engine optimization description, and keywords. Okay. In, in addition to this, you can also provide the description, search engine optimization description and keyword to the specific pages of the career site. Now, this will be very useful for those organizations who have created custom pages in their career sites. The other main feature is the domain verification. So you can now use a Google domain verification field to help search engines understand that your organization owns the career site. This feature will let you increase your career site visibility with search engines. Okay. The next feature is import and export selected career site. So this is my favorite one because it is useful for both the implementation partner and the business. So as you can see, as an administrator, you can select career sites from all the list of all the career sites available and export your selection. So let me take example for both the parties. So for the organization, let's say if the implementation is multi-country implementation, right? And you have your team in Singapore, in US, in UK, in different parts of the world. Now, if you are at the designing phase of the project and one team has worked very quickly and efficiently and decided and finalized the career site look and feel, then what you can do is you can export that career site and provide it to your different team members of different countries, right? So that they can also work on a similar look and feel career site, so that there is consistency available. Now for the implementation partner, if let's say I'll just take the basic example, I'll not take that there are multiple environments, but let's say if there are not that many environment, but just the test and production, what you can do is at the time of go live, you can move all of your career sites which have been finalized directly to the production environment without needing to set it up in from scratch. So that is why it's my favorite because it's useful for both. And this feature will allow you to share your career site settings with others for the purpose of sharing design ideas and importing one or more career site setting to the new site. Yeah, over here as you can see, so when you select these career sites and you can just export it to a CSV file. Okay. The next one is pre-screening information in external job application. So this is useful if let's say a external candidate is applied on multiple job applications of your organization. I'll take an example that if let's say I'm an external candidate and if I apply on a job, right, I will fill some pre-screening questions. And if let's say I apply to another similar job on the same for the same company and I have already answered those pre-screening questions in the earlier job application, then in my next application it will be pre-filled. So what it will do is it will ease out the process and even fasten the process for the external candidate to fill out the job application. And the easier and the faster the job application is, the more candidates you will receive. The next one is attributes to score top recommendations for job requisitions. All right. So over here, you can view the top candidate recommendations for a job requisition using these 4 criteria, such as profile, education, experience, and skill. As you can see, these are the 4 criteria, and against these 4 criteria, you have 0 to 3-star rating, in which 0 means that there is no match. So this 0 to 3-star will indicate the relative match. If the skill set which is required for the requisition that you have created, if it matches with the candidate, then it will give you, let's say, 3-star or 2 or 1, depending upon the relative match. If it doesn't match, if the skill set of the candidate doesn't match with the required skill set, then it will be marked as no star. So with the help of these stars, you'll be able to see the top matches, and also the hiring team can understand the relative strength of the recommendations based on the specific candidate attributes. This feature, the next one, is also on the very similar line. So as you saw earlier, that you would receive those stars against, the candidate profile, whether they are having more experience or they are having more education or the qualification which is needed for this application or not, or their profile strength is as per, desired or not. So what you can do is, using these information, you can also add someone as prospect if they're, matching all the requirements. Also, if somebody is not matching these requirements, you can dismiss the candidate. What it will do is, it will help the hiring team reduce the list of top recommendation for a job requisition and focus on the candidates that may be a better fit for the organization. Also, when you dismiss the candidate, it will also ask you the reason for dismissing, and this reason can be customized. So you can create, these reasons and report on it. The next is image library for campaign content. Okay, so this is very good. Again, uh, so earlier what used to happen was, whenever you are creating these campaigns, or creating campaign email or landing pages as a campaign manager, you had to provide the image URL at the time of creating this. Now, with the campaign administrator, there is a library available where you can upload the images, and you can also maintain these images. So, in the planning part of these campaigns, when you're planning for these campaigns, so you can easily decide exactly what all images you would use in which all campaigns, and you can just store them, upload them in the media library. And at the time of publishing, you would have 2 options. Either you can choose to provide the image URL if, let's say, you have not uploaded the image in the library before, or you can also insert the image from the library. Next one is more control to purge recruiting campaign data. All right. So your organization would now have more control and flexibility when configuring data retention duration for recruiting campaign email metrics. So the campaigns which has happened, let's say 180 days ago, you can move them to uh, purge those records, so that you can report on the new campaigns that are useful, right? It will also clear out your database as well. The next one is text editor in campaigns replaced by a simplified CK editor 5. Now, this is very good as well, because now it is consistent with the other areas of application, such as alerts and other notification or other email templates which we use in recruiting. Now, as you can see, the complicated text editor is replaced by the simplified uh, CK editor 5. And you just need to do a simple step in the configuration. So, in the setup and maintenance area, you can go to the campaigns and enable this, check on this, checkbox which says enable rich text editor in email designer. So this feature lets you user New text editor when managing your campaign email templates, emails on campaigns, or landing pages. Okay, so this was about the new features which are default but with a minimal configuration. Now we will move on to the next part, which are new features, but you would need to opt in for them. Okay, so the very first is Recruiting Activity Center. Now this is a feature I think my client would love because they asked me many times that they need a single area from where they can manage everything. So this feature allows that. So now in under hiring, you would have a different area, as you can see over here, Recruiting Activity Center, using which your recruiters or hiring managers will be able to easily access and manage recruiting activities such as job requisitions, job applications, and job offers they own. Okay, and that all using a single area. So the next one, yeah. So once you are in the Recruiting Activity Center, as you can see, there are three sections. Okay, the first one is the application. So the number of applications which you would have with you, and how many of high priority. Then there are the number of requisitions that you have with you. So in this case, there are 35 items, 35 requisitions available with you, of which 6 are of high priority. Then how many offers you have, right? Currently it's 0 with 0 high priority. So as you can see over here as well, you can go to applications, offer, requisitions. Under requisitions, you can see that the activity which is currently there is awaiting posting on 2 requisition, then awaiting formatting. So on one requisition, it is awaiting formatting. The other is waiting to be submitted. So you'll be able to easily analyze and see exactly what activity or action is needed, right? And from here, you can see the priority of these current requisition. You can also take actions quickly, right from here. And when you click on these action, or you go inside these requisition, for example, over here in this, the first one, the first requisition this is awaiting posting. So if I go into this one, I would be able to see the entire information from here, that the requisition, what is the requisition title, or for which job or position it is created, and how many number of job applications are there, in which location or in which you know department it is created for. So users involved in the hiring process would be more aware of recruiting actions they need to perform to ensure that the candidates are screened and hired as quickly as possible and efficiently. As I mentioned, you can take actions right from here. You don't need to go and navigate all along to the requisition and candidate and the entire navigation. Okay. The next one is double booking of interviewers. This is again a very good feature because it will give the administrator the flexibility to allow multiple booking of interviewers at the same date and time. So they can decide if you want to allow multiple booking, then what you can do is you can set the validation to no. Okay. So there are two options available, Y and N. If let's say you choose Y, then that means double booking is prevented. So a recruiter cannot book an interview or create an interview slot that overlaps a scheduled interview with one of the interviewers. For example, if for an interviewer, let's say today at 5 p.m. an interview is already scheduled, and if you try to add that interviewer in a different candidate interviews, you won't be able to do that if the setting is Y. If the setting is no, that means you have allowed the double booking. What it will do is it will give you more access or control over the setting of these interview scheduling, and you'll be able to you know um, choose exactly what do you need for your organization. Next one is perform mass updates to help desk request in the Redwood user experience. So now we have covered all the ORC, which are opt-in features, and now we have come to the HR Helpdesk features, which are opt-in. First one is that in the Redwood experience of Helpdesk, the Helpdesk agent will be able to perform mass update to multiple, perform updates to multiple Helpdesk requests concurrently for select fields. Okay, so for example, if there is a common issue, I'll take example of the payslip. If there is an issue with payslip and multiple request has been raised from multiple employees, right? And you are aware that there is a common bug, and right after you fix that, you'd be able to mass update and mass resolve all those queries, all those requests at once. It will save time and effort for the for help desk agents needing to update these multiple help desk requests at once. Next one is, and the last one is, notify all members of a queue for help desk relevant related events. What this will do is, this will help your agents take proactive actions, as all agents in queue will be notified when there is a new request. So as you can see over here, that when a notification event is defined, you can now identify all members of notify all members of a queue as recipient of the notification. So if you check this bell notification or email notification in the setup area, you'd be able to notify all the queue members that there is a request raised. So anyone can act on that. What it will do is, it will allow the agents to quickly respond to these new requests and contact impacted users promptly. So as you can see, since it will save a lot of time and better assist the affected people in the resolution time or with their service request. So that's why we think that it is also a high impact and it's a quick win with the minimal configuration needed. All right. So I think that's all from my end. I will now pass it on to Bhuvnesh again for the closing note.
Thank you so much, Geetika, for all the insights and the updates. So let's quickly move on towards to the Q&A part now. So I would request our Q&A team, Toral Mehta, we have from Mastek. If there are any questions posted, if you can check and just let us know if there are any and if that needs to be answered here.
Hi, Niyam here. I don't see any questions on the chat or the questions box.
All right. Yep. Thank you so much for confirmation. So moving, we today planned for as we have one more session, CM inventory and order map we have today, segment webinar. So this is the session that itself. So I would request all of the upcoming webinar session. So you will be receiving an email in the next couple of days, which will have the presentation, the link to the recording of this particular session, the test scripts for you also. All right. So thank you so much. And before you leave us, I will just take a quick poll for the feedback for today's session. So I will just launch. So this feedback has 1 for poor and 5 for the highest rating. So please rate for the overall experience that you had for today's session. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I appreciate everyone's time. and have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining.